What's up, YouTube? Mike from Mass here, Mass Aquariums, in my kitchen, and I'm finally starting my how to set up a planted tank series. I've been teasing it for a long time, and I know I have a video on how to start a freshwater tank. It's a one video. It goes over all the basics. In this video, it's really geared towards beginners and how to take you step by step on how to set up a planted tank, and we're going to go through the whole process together. I don't already have a planted tank set up. We're going to start from beginning. I'm going to go through everything you need to know, and if you have any questions, as always, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will answer all your questions. I will not leave a comment unanswered. But let's start the series off. First of all, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Marineland and Fluval, for sponsoring a bunch of great equipment, great stuff for this planted tank. It's going to be completely awesome. Marineland has sponsored the stand, the tank, the top, the light, and Fluval has sponsored the heater and the filter. Through my asking, this is what I prefer. So let's get to it. Tonight's video, episode 1 of this planted tank series, is going to be all about preparation, planning, and getting your equipment. In episode 2, I'm going to go over actually installing your equipment and starting your hardscape and what kind of substrate you want to use through my tank. But let's start off with episode 1, planning and getting your equipment. Now, planning. You will need a notebook and a pen. Now, I know this might seem a little ridiculous, but you don't just want to go willy-nilly and run into a store and stop buying random lights and random filters and random power heads and this and that, because one, you're going to spend a whole lot of money, and two, you might not get the right stuff that you need, and three, you're going to want to buy the stuff that's necessary for the tank and the fish you're going to keep. So what I recommend is, first of all, do a bunch of research and figure out what kind of fish you want to keep. Now, this is freshwater video, so do you want to keep angels? Do you want to keep small, tetras? Do you want to keep dwarf cichlids? Do you want to keep big Oscars? What kind of fish are you going to keep? And then you need to figure out what kind of tank you're going to need. Now, I'm going to be keeping tetras and dwarf cichlids, South American dwarf cichlids, and a few small plecos in my tank. So I went with a 40-gallon breeder. I love the dimensions of a 40-gallon breeder. I love the fact that it's really deep, and I love the length and the height of it, so I went with a 40-gallon breeder. Now, I did all my research. I've been doing research for years, so I kind of knew what I was getting into as far as fish, and I knew what kind of tank I wanted to get. I've had big tanks, I've had small tanks. 40-gallon breeder is by far my favorite tank, and for the fish I'm going to keep for this setup, that's what I'm going with. So I write down what kind of fish I want to keep. After I research, I get what kind of tank I want to keep, and then I go from there and I get my equipment. Now, this is going to be a setup for a 40-gallon breeder. And so right now I want to go through what kind of equipment I need for this and what I have got sponsored and what I bought for myself. And I believe this is what you will need for your setup, the basics for the equipment you're going to need. So, first of all, I have my tank, 40-gallon breeder. I have my stand. In there, I have my glass tops. I always like to keep a glass tops. It helps with evaporation. It also helps for fish jumping out if you have jumpers. Next, I'm going with a Fluval canister filter, Fluval 406. Fluval donated this to me through my asking. This was the filter I wanted for my tank. I love canister filters, especially the Fluval 406. You can go with hang-on back filters for 40-gallon breeders. I recommend the AquaClear 70 for a 40-gallon breeder. I have that in my saltwater tank, but for this, I'm going with a Fluval 406 canister filter. You can't go wrong with the canister filter. Really great stuff. In the next video, we're going to go over everything you need to put in this canister filter. For my light, Marineland has donated a aquatic plant LED strip light. This is a great light. It goes for about $269. It comes with a built-in timer. It comes with moonlights. It comes with a whole bunch of settings. It's perfect for growing plants, and I can't wait to put this light on my tank. Now, you can go with T8 or T5 high output bulbs. Nowadays, I'm going with LEDs because it's energy efficient and it saves a lot of electricity and it's going to last a lot longer. Now, if the Fluval 406 doesn't put out enough flow, I'm going with a high door Corellia circulation pump, 425 gallons per hour, which I purchased because I really love this circulation pump. In a planted tank, you want to have some gentle flow. You want things moving. You don't want any dead spots. So what I'm going to do is after I set this filter up, I'm going to see what the flow looks like, and I may or I may not need to use this, but this is always a good thing to have as a circulation pump lying around just in case. It's good for surface agitation and it's good for flow. Next, my heater, sponsored by Fluval. This heater I personally asked for because I love it. It's the M series. It's chrome. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous heater. It blends right into your tank. You can't see it at all. You put it away in the corner, you don't even know it's there. I have these in all my tanks. I will only use this heater. Not only is it durable and it lasts a long time, it's super sleek and you cannot go wrong. It looks beautiful and you can't even tell it's in the tank. I'm going with a nice little Marina Aquarium heater. I'm going to stuff this away where you can't even see it, but it's always good to know what your temp is. Even if you set the temp, you like to see this. I'm going with a Flipper Nano. I love the flippers. I've used mag floats. I've used Aquariums. And it's not just because they're a sponsor of my Aquarium Box. I just really love the flippers. I love the way they work. I love how they have the algae scraper with the brush, you know, diatoms, the works, green spot. I just love having this in the tank, so I'm going with this. Power strip. You're going to need a power strip. This is a Monster Power. It's a safe protector. It will go off in case water drip down or power goes out. You know, this is a safe one. It's got 6 outlets, which is perfect. I'm only going to need 3, 4 max, and that's that. I have black poster board. You get it at CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, wherever. This is what I'm going to be covering the back of my tank with. This is not necessarily equipment, but I like my background to be covered so that you don't see any cords or anything. You can go with black, blue, green, whatever you like. Light blue, the works. I prefer black. I'm going to line the back and 2 sides of my aquarium so you just see the front. That's the way I like it. That's the way I'm going to do it. That's the way I've always done it. And I'm going with black. Now there's a whole bunch of stuff you're going to need later on. We'll go over that. You may need a net. You're going to need some tongs. There's various little types of nitpicky things that you can get later on. But as far as basics go, this is what I believe you will need to set up a great planted tank. Light, circulation pump, power strip, heater, thermometer, algae scraper, not necessary but very helpful. Filter, I like a background, and most important, sit down and research what you're going to do for your tank. Research what kind of fish you want, what kind of tank you're going to need for these fish, and how you're going to take care of the fish. You can't just go willy-nilly and buy a tank and then all of a sudden you're buying a bunch of angels who don't realize that they're going to get the size of your hand and they're in a 30-gallon tank. You need to know what kind of fish you want to do and then go from there. What kind of tank you're going to set up, what kind of filter does that tank require, does it take multiple filters, does it take multiple circulation pumps, how many lights you're going to need, how strong a light you're going to need, what kind of plants you're going to do. That's all what you need to research to start. This is a basic 40-gallon plant setup. I'm not going to be running CO2, even though I have a badass setup. I'm going to keep this low tech and very easy, very low maintenance, water changes every couple weeks, and no ferts. So, that's episode 1, equipment, setting up a planted tank. Next episode, I'm going to show you my hardscape. I'm going to show you what I'm going to buy. Sorry, I've already bought it. I'm going to show you what I bought. I'm going to show you how I'm going to utilize it and where I'm going to put it. And yeah, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this first episode. Stay tuned for episode 2, how to set up a planted tank. And I'm out. Yes, I'm out.